So we are going to talk about zeros, roots, and solutions of quadratic functions. And these all mean the same thing. So this is our rocks. So I am Missy Saucy, but I go by different names according to who is talking to me. So I'm Missy Saucy to my students. I am mom to my kids. I am wife to my husband. And I am Amanda to my friends. Okay, so that's 4 names, but it's still just me. So this is the same thing that we deal with when we have our zeros. We're still talking about the same thing, but there are 4 different names that represent the same thing. If we could just go by one name, that would be fine, but you all go by different names according to who you're around also. So we have R stands for roots. Zeros is like an O or 0. It's when Y is 0. Then X stands for x-intercept. Some people say x-axis, but that's not right because we're talking about the x-intercept, where it crosses the x-axis. And then S stands for solutions. So we have 4 names, but it's all the same. So what we are going to write down here, I'm going to write some things and then I'm going to draw some graphs. So write the x value where the parabola crosses the x-axis. That's what it represents. The x value where the parabola, that's that U shape of a quadratic, crosses the x-axis. There are 3 different ways that it can cross the x-axis, or 3 different types of solutions. One type is it doesn't cross at all. So we're going to say none, and we're going to draw a graph where it doesn't cross the x-axis at all. That would be whenever your parabola is just kind of hanging out, either above or below the x-axis, but never actually crosses it. So we could write this as these little squiggly braces with a 0 and a slash. That means no solution. Or it never even touches. So no solution, it never crosses. You could have one solution. That's when it crosses just at one location. Make sure you zoom in if you're graphing on Desmos, that you zoom in and it truly is just that one spot. So you'll see this as x equals some number. So you'll just have one answer. You might see it with these little squiggly braces and a number inside. It's not a coordinate pair because you just have one answer. So it's not parentheses, it's the squiggly braces. So no solution, you have no zeros, you have one solution, just one answer, or you could have 2 solutions. Those are the only options. And these could be upside down too, so it's not always going to be going upward. So we just care about where it crosses the x-axis. There we go. So on the 2 solutions, you would say x equals some number and x equals another number. You have to write both of them down. Or you could see it with the squiggly braces and the 2 numbers separated by a comma. So you might see it that way too. It's not a parenthesis, so just remember that. If you see it as a parenthesis, that's talking about a point, like a coordinate pair. See the squiggly braces, that's talking about an x-intercept, where it crosses the x-axis. All right, once you're done with this page, go ahead and turn it over, or open it up. So this is for graphs. The first example is a table. So for the table, you can either graph it in Desmos and look at it, or you can see it by looking at where y is 0 and x is some number. So on a table of values, x comma y or xy, what you're looking for is where y is 0. X is some number. You will circle them. You could have 1, you could have 2, but to say that there's none, you do have to graph it in Desmos because it might be there, just not in our current table that we can see. All right, so look at the first one. Go ahead and circle where y is 0. And we have 2 of those. So I'm going to have you write x equals instead of the squiggly braces. Just write x equals -2 and x equals +2. Okay, do the next one. You see where y is 0. F of x, remember, f of x is the same thing as saying y. So replace f of x with y. Circle your solutions. X is a number, y is 0. Okay, let's go to a graph. We've already talked about this. We're just looking at where it crosses the x-axis. Label your x-axis since it's not labeled. And it only crosses at the origin. So what's the x value of the origin? 0. So I would darken that just so you know that's what you're looking at. It doesn't have to be the vertex. If it's one solution, it will be the vertex, though. Okay, and then this one, go ahead and darken your x-intercepts, your solutions. Label your x-axis. So it would be x equals -4 and x equals 0. Okay, equations. It says Desmos steps. So we are going to use Desmos. Open up your computer. Go to Desmos. We are going to look at how we use Desmos. So let's look at the equations. So we do have equation steps. It says type equation in first line. Step 2, type in y equals 0 in the second line and find where they intersect. So let's do that. So open up your Desmos. We are going to type in, remember f of x is the same thing as saying y equals. If you want to say y equals, then you can go ahead and do that. But go ahead and type that in. Okay. And then on the second line, type in y equals 0. So it shows that the red one is the parabola and y equals 0 is the x-axis. So now you can clearly see where the x-axis is. Do they intersect at all? No. So we have a no solution here. So you can put a 0 with a slash, or you can write none. Because we're saying, where does it cross the x-axis? What are the zeros? There are none. Let's do the second example. I'm going to change this one to y equals 3x minus 15. Oh, I need to delete. Okay, 3x minus 15, then parenthesis, x plus 19, close parenthesis. Now there's one of them, and then I have to move over so I can see the other one. All right. So we're going to write it as x equals negative 19 and x equals 5. X equals negative 19 and x equals 5.